How's it going? So today's video is going to be a lot of fun. So yeah, we've done a lot of videos on getting wild food out of the bush and individual foods, but I thought it would be fun to do a little challenge and just to see how, you know, practical it is to actually gather this food if you really needed it. So I'm going to give myself 2 hours, and I'm in some beautiful podocarp, broadleaf podocarp forest here, lots of Tawa trees and a little bit of regen as well. The time of the year is autumn, late autumn. We're about halfway through May, 14th of May today, and yeah, we're going to see how much food we can forage within 2 hours, so I better get cracking. The time at the moment is 12:30. And I'm just going to go hard until 2:30 and we'll see what we've got at the end of it. Sweet. Okay, so we've found one. This is karamu, which is a Coprosma species, and we've got heaps of Coprosma species in New Zealand. I think there's about 50 of them. And the berries off them don't taste too bad. They're quite nice and sweet. They do have little seeds in them which you can make a type of coffee out of, apparently. I've never tried that. But the flesh itself is quite good, you know, it's pretty sweet and pretty easy to eat. And look at all these ones here, they're just loaded on this plant. So it's the same one, it's another karamu. So I've just dropped down into the creek here. There's heaps of watercress in it, and it's a really nice clear freshwater stream. So you can see right down to the bottom. That water's just super clear, and there's some really nice fresh watercress in here. It's nice and easy to break off, hasn't gone purple yet from the frost, and it hasn't flowered either, so it's just prime. So yeah, watercress isn't a native to New Zealand, it's an introduced species, so you don't find it absolutely everywhere in the bush, but it has been introduced to a lot of places, a lot of backcountry huts and river flats where people have camped out over the years, and anywhere where civilization is not too far away you'll generally find it in an open creek like this where there's a bit of sunlight getting in, and it's really good for you, got lots of nutrients. And man, just look at where it's growing, it's just really nice clear water in here. There'll be heaps of minerals in that water. So that is the Tawa tree kernel, or pretty much the seed, and all the flesh is gone because we're a little bit late in the season. The best season to be lost in the bush is probably early autumn, so March, April. That's when most of the berries are just nice and ready, and that's the case with the Tawa. So all the flesh is rotted off these now, and the flesh is really nice and sweet. Yeah, that's one of my favourite berries, but now that it's all rotted away, we're left with this little brown thing, and you can actually eat that. And the cool thing about these is they last on the ground for quite a few months, so the pigs love them, a lot of things love them, and they're a really good food source. So you just peel away this brown layer, and what you're left with is like a peanutty thing. So yeah, you can actually eat that fresh. It is pretty slimy, to be honest. It's got some carbohydrates and stuff in it, but it's much better when you cook it. Cook it for a really long time, or even leave them out in the sun to dry, then cook them, like boil them for ages, or roast them, or whatever you want to do. And what that does is just gets rid of some of that sliminess. Because it does kind of feel like you're swallowing chewing gum when you're eating them fresh. But yeah, there's heaps of them on the ground here. That's what the bark looks like on the tree itself. That's what the leaves look like from the Tawa tree. And they grow pretty big. Ah yes, the faithful old supplejack vine. I'll take that. Oh man, there's another one, even bigger, juicier. Look at that. Okay, so I found another potential food source here. These massive tree ferns, which are our biggest tree fern in New Zealand. These are mamaku. And they are massive. It's sort of hard to see how big they are up there, but these are the fallen down ferns here. And you can see that's the width of those fern stems, which is massive. It's bigger than my foot. And there's a few things you can eat off them. So you can eat the fiddleheads, or the young ferns when they're curled up, you know, in the koru shape. And you can also eat the base of the fern where it attaches on up in there. And if you really got desperate, you can eat the pith, or the piece, the actual centre of the trunk up in there. But to do that you have to kill the tree basically. You got to cut it down, or yeah, kill it. So you don't really want to be doing that unless it's a proper emergency for you. But I've got a cunning little plan of how I think I can maybe get a fern or a fiddlehead out of them, so I'll see how that goes. Right, so I've got a branch here, nice long one, and I'm just gonna use my Swiss Army knife. The beauty of these is they have these corkscrews in them, and they're not just good for opening bottles of wine. Flick my knife open, and now I've got a 3 or 4 metre knife. See if we can get some of these down. Oh man, that worked better than I thought it would. The old knife on a stick. And man, look what we've got. Man, that's a big peckle right there. Huge. I almost feel bad cutting that off the tree, but it'll grow another one. And yeah, you basically, what you'd be looking to eat is this soft white centre. And it is really soft, but ideally you want to cook that first, because just like the Tawa kernels, it's really slimy when it's not cooked. So you can kind of see there's almost slime stuck to my knife there. And yeah, the taste itself is actually delicious. I mean, it's fresh, and that's not too bad. I mean, that's slimy, but it's quite easy to eat. I mean, if you were desperate, you'd eat that no worries. I can eat it right now, so. And you can eat these little mini fiddleheads here too. Some of them are quite hairy. You'd want to sort of scrape that furry stuff off first. It might irritate your throat a little bit. But yeah, the best way to have this stuff is strip this outer layer off, get all the nice white stuff in the centre, and cook it for a long time. Like, cook it for, another thing they used to do with mamaku is cut it up and then hang it out in the sun, let it dry right out, like sort of like jerky, and then cook it up. And that would sort of just another thing to get rid of some of that sliminess. But I don't actually mind it, to be honest. It looks really slimy, but it's pretty damn good. It's kind of just like a crisp cucumber, but with less flavour of a cucumber. It's just like crispy and refreshing, and yeah, not a lot, nothing bad to it, to be honest. I'm getting that slime down, no worries, and there's heaps of it. I mean, that's a good meal, man. So bloody wrapped with that. Alright, so it is basically 2:30. So that's the end of our gathering. What did we come up with? We've got a good amount of Tawa kernels there, with a few supplejack berries mixed in. We've got a massive amount of beautiful watercress. That's just going to be delicious. We've got our karamu berries, and also quite a lot of supplejack shoots. So they're going to be nice steamed up tonight. And then we got this beauty right here. The prize of the day, I reckon. I'm wrapped with this. That just sort of sums up New Zealand bush. Just a really beautiful plant. Nice tui singing away in the background there. But yeah, that's my 2-hour effort. And yeah, it just goes to show there is a fair bit of food around if you look for it, you know. So yeah, that's a pretty cool little challenge. Anyone can do it. Just make sure you know your stuff before you go out, because there are poisonous plants in the bush. So yeah, if you're in doubt of what species you're looking at, just leave it alone. Take a leaf, take it home, compare it to a book, look it up online. It's not hard, you'll work it out eventually, but better to be on the safe side So yeah, thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time. Cheers.